the health education movement is really helping the nation to understand the interrelationship of things. How health is not health alone, that often our education policy is health policy, our transportation policy is health policy, our economic policy is health policy, and learning the interrelationship among all of those things and how it relates to the broader society challenge of inclusion is really something that you are learning and that you can teach the nation. Because we are living in some very interesting times, that we are actually at a point as a nation where some might see the glass as half full and draining out, and others can see it as half full, draining out, but a tremendous opportunity to plug the hole and fill it up. And that's how I want to talk about it. Because when we look at the crises that we are facing in terms of our economy, in terms of the vibrancy of democracy, in terms of how to be able to have a middle class that can expect to grow and provide for children going forward, we really don't know how to answer those questions. But we can know where the answers are. The answers really rest with the people who are going to be the future. And they always do. They always rest with the people who are going to be the future. And what we have to remind ourselves is that we cannot be a pull-up-the-ladder nation. Even though there is uncertainty about the future, real uncertainty, we cannot be a pull-up-the-ladder nation. We have to do what we have done in the past. We have to be a society in which old men and old women plant trees under the shade of which they will never sit. We have to have faith that if we prepare for those people who are going to be the future, we're preparing for our own children, we're preparing for our grandchildren, we're preparing a nation to be strong. The children today are overwhelmingly becoming children of color. Almost half, 46.5% of all children in this nation are of color. In this state of California, 73% of all children are of color. By the end of this decade, the majority of children in this nation, 18 and under, will be children of color, Native American, Asian, Latin, Latino, African American, and other. We know that if they don't do well, the nation will not do well. But we also know, if we're paying attention at all, and I know that you are, that when we look at diabetes and heart disease and childhood obesity and so many issues that have to do with the health, that the very groups that are going to be the future are the very ones that stand out in terms of being left behind, having the most troubling statistics. We know that if we look at what's happening in education, if we look what's happening in terms of job readiness, the ones who are being left behind are the very ones that are going to be the future. We know that by 2018, and that is really close, 63% of all jobs in this country will require some college. 45% will require an associate's degree. And yet only 27% of African Americans, 14% of U.S.-born Latinos, 26% of U.S.-born Latinos, and 14% of non-U.S.-born Latinos have an associate's degree. The situation that we face is stark and clear, and the agenda is undeniable. This agenda of full inclusion, the equity agenda, just and fair inclusion into a society in which all can participate and prosper, has become America's imperative. It's not just the thing that we do because we committed long ago that we were going to make our lives about justice. It's not what we do because it's the moral thing to do. It's not what we do on the side as part of our charitable giving. The equity agenda has become America's imperative.